All right, so here's my Triumph SpeedTwin. I just rode over, this. I just rode over 600 miles, and the wrench comes on, right? So that wrench means it's time for service. So at 600 miles, it's the break-in service. Basically, what that means is change the oil filter. Obviously, you gotta reset the wrench light, and so that's two ways of resetting the wrench light. Either take it to the dealership, or you could do it yourself, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let's see what else needs to be done at the 600-mile interval. Maybe clean and loop the chain, and maybe check the nuts, the fasteners, like the axle nuts and the shock nuts and things like that. And make sure that nothing's loose. And that's about it. Nothing else needs to be done. So let's look at what I have, what stuff you need basically. So obviously, since you're going to be doing oil change, you need oil. So I'm using Shell Rotella oil, 540. I actually have this laying around, so I'm going to use this for this bike. Because this bike runs hot, I would rather use the 1540. Rotella also has the T6 also has a 1540. I would rather use that. But again, this is what I have. Right now we're in the middle of summer. We're in August, middle of August, so we should have another month or so of warm. It doesn't get cooler until till October. So this is this. Whatever the case, this works fine. And the funny thing with Shell Rotella, it's a diesel engine motor oil specifically. So it still has a lot of controversy. I don't know why there's still controversy. It's just people that are, ignorant. So the main thing, when you look at the owner's manual on motorcycles, because most motorcycles use wet clutch, the owner's manual says to whatever specification, right? And you have this right here. This is what matters. Jazzo MA. So that right there tells you that it's okay for wet clutches, for motorcycles, basically. And the reason why this is okay for wet clutches for motorcycle is that it does not have the energy conserving additive that a car motor oil has. And that additive is basically molybdenum. Molybdenum, when you add into the oil, it's actually a solid, but it's very, it's microscopic, and it's very slippery. So diesel doesn't have that, so that's why it's okay to use in a wet clutch, such as this bike. Right, so you got the motor oil. Right, so that's down there. I have a couple of oil filter wrenches. I have this one. Usually, when I use this type of wrench, they don't usually work that good. Lots of time they just slip. I'm not sure if it's just because it's cheap or what, but if this one slips, then I'm gonna use this one right here. This is another one I have. This one is pretty cool because it cinches down when you go counterclockwise on this to loosen up. These two jaws are here. Let's see if you guys can see that. See the two jaws, how they open? They actually close down and tighten up and cinch out when you're loosening it. So that's why I like using this. It works every time. I've never had a problem with this one. So that's for the oil filter, and you need an 8mm wrench for the drain plug. I think you probably also need to change the washer as well. I'm not sure what size washer I need. When I pull it out, I'll see. I have several different washers, and a bunch of different washers actually. So we'll see what I need. Right. Another thing for the oil change is an oil filter. So look at this thing. This is a Fram XG6607. You're like, wait a minute, is that a car filter? Yeah, it is a car filter, oil filter for car. But if you cross-reference the sizes for this, and you actually go to the Fram website, and you look back, because the thing is, the Fram, they mainly sell oil filters for cars, right? They don't know. Motorcycles is not their objective, That's like a secondary. It's actually not even secondary. It's probably like third or fourth, fifth on the list of importance. So they don't care too much about motorcycles. So that's why they don't have really updated current model year motorcycle for for the filters. But if you go to their website and you look up the Triumph Truxton 2016, I believe, 2016 Triumph Truxton, or was it 17, 16 or 17, I forget. And you see that this is the filter for that bike, and they actually also have another filter, a lower motorcycle specific filter. But the reality is that they're all the same. The only thing that matters in an oil filter, you got a few things that matters. One is the thread pitch on the filter itself. Two is the bypass valve all the way down in at the bottom. That's a bypass valve, just in case when the oil filter clogs up, you need to keep on flowing filter, right? So it bypasses the filter medium for safety reasons. And that bypass filter is pretty much universally for cars and motorcycle. It's pretty much about, if I can remember right, something like 12 psi to 15 psi, somewhere in that ballpark range. So that's why this one works. This one fits. Oh, I see a little something right here. What is that? Like a little paper or something. Okay, I think I got it out. But yeah, so that, there it is right there. I see you right there. Particle of something. It's part of the silicone. That's a silicone thing. So yeah, so the bypass valve. And the other thing that's important, besides the thread, the bypass valve, is the actual physical size. It making sure that if it's the diameter wise and the height of it wise, it's not too tall, where it might go below the oil pan and it could get hit, right? And it's not so short that you can't reach it, right? And obviously diameter, that's pretty obvious, right? That shouldn't have to be explained. So anyway, so going back to this filter and Fram, is that you cross-reference it, and it's for the Truxton, and if you cross-reference the Truxton oil filter to other, not just Triumph, but other brands like K&N or whatever, they all basically cross-reference, and they're all basically the same filter. They all meet the same specification. So I chose this one for two reasons. One, because the quality of the XG filter. The XG filter is one of the top quality filters that's on the market. Believe it or not, Fram has a, especially the old Fram, old orange Fram, has a reputation of being very low quality. But the XG is one of the best quality filters on the market. So that's one. Other reason is that this is cheap. This filter is like $9 at Walmart. All right. So the bad thing about this is that the Fram XG is not made anymore. It's discontinued. This XG series is discontinued. So Fram, I think was it last year or 2 years ago? I forget now. And I actually just recently heard about this too. I didn't even pay attention to it. No wonder why I had a hard time finding filters this past year, because the XGs are not made anymore. So the XG filter is being discontinued, or it has been discontinued. Whatever they have is whatever inventory they have that's left floating around. So get it where you can. The cool thing about this size is that this is not the typical size. Like for example, on a Honda, the Honda size is 7317, I think it is, whatever, something like that. I don't remember exactly. That size filter is sold out long time already. But this filter size is actually fits a Mazda, or specifically like the Mazda 3 or the Mazda Miata. That's why I have this, because I have a Miata, right? So anyways, yeah, so this filter is for that. So again, it's discontinued. But what Fram did was they came out to replace this. They actually have a replacement for this. They came out with two different, they kind of split the, they took this and they kind of split it out. You just had like a family tree where it splits out. So they took this and they split it out into two different models. I forget what the name is, what letter designation it uses, but they split out into two versions, and I can't remember which was which and what exactly they were. But the bad thing about those new ones, and both of them, is that they're more expensive. This is $9. Those, $8 something, $9. Those other filters are 12 something, 13 bucks, and I think they're both about 13 bucks or somewhere between 13 to 15 bucks. So they're more expensive. One. Two, they're not as good of a quality because, well, one of them actually, let me take that back. One of them is not as good of a quality because when they split into two, they actually made one that I think supposedly better quality, and I think that's the $15 one, and one that's a little bit lower quality than this. They're basically pretty much the same thing, more or less, but the cheaper one, this one, you see this one, it says 20,000 miles in the car. On their cheaper one, I think it's 15,000 miles, and the more expensive one is, I believe, 25,000 miles. So that's the difference right there. I'd rather get this because it's just bang for the buck is cheaper, and being a motorcycle, because you have all the clutch material, so there's more particles on the oil. Just changes whenever you change the oil on the bike. So Triumph says to change the oil, initial change is the break-in change, which is 600 miles or 1,000 kilometers, or after that it's every 10,000 miles or every year, whichever comes first. So that should be more than enough for this filter. So this filter could handle it, no big deal, right? All right, so that's changing the filter. Other thing you have to do, remember there's the wrench light, right? The wrench light. So for the wrench light, what you need is, again, I mentioned earlier, you need to take it, your choices are taking it to the dealership for them to reset it, or you could do it on your own. And what you need to do on your own is get yourself some type of Bluetooth OBD link, one of these OBD link things. So this is what I have, and I actually use this for my Mazda Miata, and actually pretty much any car, because this works on any of the modern cars. So this is the fancy one. This is the OBD Link MX Plus. They have another one that you would use as well, but this is the fancy one. So I already have that, and I actually had to buy this over here. This is a Bluetooth. This is a Bluetooth. God, what's it called from Google? Chrome? No, that's the software. Android. So this is a Android phone. So you need an Android phone, or you could use an Android tablet. Either one works. But what you need is this app right here. This is Tune ECU app. Right, the Tune ECU app is what you need, and you go online, Google Tune ECU, and you can actually go to the website and you could download the software, and it does cost money. So it does cost money, so you have to pay for that, but it's still going to be cheaper than taking this to a dealership. The cost of paying for the Tune ECU, buying one of these, and buying the oil filter and the oil is, I guarantee you, it will be cheaper than taking it to the dealer and doing oil change. I think if you take this bike to the dealer and do an oil change, they're gonna charge you like, probably, I'm gonna say at least $150 minimum. Probably more than that, probably as much as $250, $300. So this phone right here cost me $30 at Walmart. They had a clearance on a cheaper one for like $20, but they were out of stock. Then they had one also on clearance for $25, but they also out of stock. So this was a next up in price, $30. So bought that, and I'm not using it as a phone. I'm just using it for the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, so that way I could download the Tune ECU and in a OBD module. And this right here, this is the fancier one, so it probably costs. This is probably the most expensive thing here. This is a fancier one, so it costs like, I think, I'm not sure what the current price is, but when I bought this, I think it was about, was it $130 or $150 or something like that, around that ballpark. So that's probably the most expensive thing right here. And obviously, oil filter was $9, and wrenches. You already got wrenches, right, tools, and oil. This jug of oil, 1 gallon, is like $20 something. No more than $25, about $25. So yeah, with all this stuff, initially it costs about the same or a little bit less than than taking your bike to the Triumph dealership. But once you got that, you know, these are all tools, right? So you don't have to worry about spending more money. The only thing you have to spend more money in the future is oil and filters. So that's, you know, 20 something. Let's say the newer version is $15. 15 plus, let's say 25, that's 30, 40 bucks. $40 and a little bit of your time, you know, versus going to the dealership and spending at least $150 every time. And I think that's the minimum. I'm thinking it's more than that. All right, so let's get started on the actual oil change. So first thing I'm gonna do, since my hands are still clean and everything's still fresh, I'm actually gonna go in and reset the computer. Let's see, I've never reset this before, so let's see how it works. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to plug this in first or start, or, you know, have the bike on. Let's actually just have the bike on. So you see it's the wrench is still on there, right? You see the wrench, and it's at 600 miles, 602 miles. All right, so let's plug this in. So you take this little plug right here, plug this in. So you see it's lit up. Now searching for a Bluetooth signal. So go get my phone. So get my phone. Got the tune ECU. Let's see. Register. It should be registered. Let's see. I have to go through this. Let me go through this off camera, because I had it before, but I think I have to like kind of I think I have to log in or something. Let me see. Actually, let me see if I could just go into this. App update, blah blah blah. So my Wi-Fi signal is a little bit okay. Apps up to date. My Wi-Fi signal is a little bit weak. Okay. Oh, it still says unregistered. Shouldn't say that because I already paid for my. I already paid for this one, right? Let's see. Nope. Cancel. Cancel. I don't want to do the log. Connect. Oh. So I have it set up as Triumph key in. So when you get the tune ECU, you know, you need to set it up for whatever bike. So I really did that when I registered for this. Paired for that. Okay, I'm unable to connect device. Was we unable to connect? Okay, I need to press the button on the thing. Let's see. Let me see. I need to press the button right here on the tune ECU. Let's see. Oops, unable to connect. Press this. Okay, now it's beeping. Connect. Okay. ECU is not responding. Check cable connection. Transmission off and on. Okay. Ignition on and off. Okay, so I'm having some technical difficulties. Again, I've never used it. I connected this before when I first downloaded the tune, but I haven't done it since. So give me a minute and let me figure this out off camera. Okay, now I know what I did wrong. So I didn't turn the key all the way to on. The ignition. You have to turn the ignition all the way to on. So once you did that, you go into the ECU. You punch ECU, and there's a button that says connect. So you just press connect, and it connects. So everything's good there. Okay, so it's connected already. Let me see. Let's look up error codes real quick. No error codes. All right, no error codes. Oops. Jeez, the sun's all glaring here. No error codes. Close that. Let's go back to that. Test and adjustments. Well, actually, let's look at information. So it's a key in, yeah, it tells you the Triumph. Key in, go to test and adjustment. And here I think this is what we're looking for right here. Test the camera, radiator, fuel pump. Let's see, wire by wire. No, it's purge, fuel pump, radiator, tachometer. No, tach, radiator, fuel pump, purge. No, that's not it. Error codes? No error codes. There's nothing there. Where am I missing? Where did I find it before? Last time I found it in here somewhere. I found a spot where you're supposed to reset where you reset the computer. Now I can't freaking find it. Let's see. It's so simple, but why can't I find it? Error codes, no. Tests and adjustments. Information. Wait, there's another little dot right there. No, that just makes it bigger. Tests and adjustments. I thought it was right here. Adjustments. No. Tachometer. Radiator fan. Fuel pump. Where is the reset? There should be a computer reset in here somewhere. Let's see. Okay, let me do this off screen again. All right, let's look at this real quick. Let's see. Blur, test and adjustment. Go to adjustment. You actually scroll up and down. But the thing I didn't notice was right here, adjustment. You click on the adjustment. You go to reset service interval. Right, reset service interval, run. And from there you go to miles, and Triumph says 10,000 miles. So I'm going to go 10,000 miles and validate. Next service, 10,000 miles. Yes. Yes. Reset service done. Okay. And that's it. Let's see. Let's check the... Yep. See, the wrench is gone now. So the wrench is gone. So we just reset the service interval already. So we're good. So now I'm done with this step. I could just, basically shut this down now, right? So shut it down. I guess you just turn it off then. Blah. Do you want to exit tune ECU? Yes. Just exit. So that's good there. I could just turn this phone off. Until next time, it's still mostly charged. Power off. So basically, this phone I only use it just for this purpose. And I guess I could just turn off the key right here. Turn off the key. Unplug my OBD2 plug. Alright, so that's it. So now I can start on the actual oil change. So let's get onto that. Let me get situated real quick. Alright, so let's get into the actual oil change now. So hopefully you guys can see this. Alright, so here's the oil filter, and right over here is the drain plug. So pick one. Just pick one and do it. Let's actually flip this around. That's a little better. So I'm gonna do the oil filter first. Actually, I should do the drain plug first. So remember, it's counterclockwise, right? Counterclockwise. So now it's loosened up. So before I spit it out, I'm actually using my fingernail to scratch at the oil drain washer, the sealing washer, so that way it drops down with the bolt once I have it, so that way it's not all messy and I don't have to fish for it. So it looks very clean, and that's to be expected because it's only 600 miles, right? Yeah, it looks really clean. I don't see it too metallic either. So there's the drain. the drain plug or drain washer. I have to replace this. Let's get the actual filter now. So let's see, hopefully this thing works. Again, I'm not a big fan of this type of oil filter wrenches, because I just not have very good experience with them. Nope. That's what always happens. It kind of slips, but what happens is that it kind of pushes down and slip. I can never keep it up and spinning. Oh, see that? Oh, I think it spun. Oh, wait, it did spin. Okay, it did spin. Okay, it's spinning. Okay, that's good. But it gets kind of stuck too when that happens. So now the filter's kind of stuck there. I have to usually kind of hit it the other way. There it goes. Now I can just spin it with not much pressure anymore. And it shouldn't be stuck anymore. There it goes. So take it out and just basically spin it with my hands now. Spin it with my hands. Once it starts dripping, I'm just gonna leave it right there so that way it doesn't drip all over my hands. That drip is from the filter itself, or what's up in there. So I'm just gonna let it stop, and once it stops, I will spin the rest of it. And so that's gonna take a little bit of time. So let's go off camera. All right, so I have a whole bunch of oil filter sealing washers. So this is the original one. This is the replacement one. The original one's actually a little bit thicker, but the ID, and that's what's important, it's the same ID, and they're both aluminum. That's what makes them sealing washers. The aluminum is soft, so that when you tighten it up, it squeezes down, and the aluminum will deform into the same shape as the oil pan and the bolt, forming a seal. So that's how it works. Let's get into the bolt. Do that first. Get that out of the way. So this thing is mostly stopped already, right? So let's spin this the rest of the way, so the way it doesn't drip all over my fingers. See it drip just about to come down. Okay, let it come down before I spin some more. Okay, there it goes. So far, oh, I got a little bit of oil on my fingers. So there you go, official Triumph genuine part right there. So I've got a little bit on my finger, mainly my middle finger, a little bit on my ring finger and my index, but not too much. So that's good. So check the oil filter to see that it has the sealing gasket. So the sealing gasket's there. So we're good. When you want to wipe down where the seal is. It's kind of hard to see and reach in here, but just wipe down where the seal would be. And this right here, this is definitely gonna get your hands oily. That's just how it is. Okay, that's wiped down. So let's look at the new filter and just compare it real fast with the original filter. So you see the height is basically the same. Height's the same. Diameter's the same. Okay, diameter's the same. It looks like the Fram probably flows a little better. See the hose, bigger hose, more flow. But that's actually these holes are actually the in, and this big hole is the out. Oops. Right, so because I touched the two O-rings together, this one now has oil in it. Normally you put oil on here so that way later in the future when you take it out, that O-ring will come out as well. All right, stick it on, spin it. So that's what I like about this Fram set. It has that textured the rubberized texture, the cap, so that way when you could actually screw it on by hand, and that's what you want. You don't want to use a wrench unless you can't have a grip on it. But this thing has grip, so I could screw it on by hand. I could barely get a grip on it, so that's why I'm using 2 hands. Normally I'm use 1 hand. Okay, I think that's tight enough because I used 2 hands, even though I was barely at using my fingertips, so I couldn't get a full wrap around it. So it's still dripping a little bit, which is fine. And wipe that little spot where the drain plug goes. And since this bike is on a kickstand already, so that's the low side where the drain plug is. We should be good. And I'm actually on a driveway right now too, so this end right here is lower than this end, so we should be good, because the drain plug is, I think, the most bottom point pretty much right now, so we should be good. The drip is fine. Now I'm just gonna stick the bolt back in. Okay. Once you torque it down, I'm actually not sure how much torque you use. That's not much, but you know, that's the cool thing with the sealing washer, is that it crushes and you can actually feel that, right? It bottomed out, so now I can actually turn it. As I turn it, I can actually feel the aluminum washer crushing down. So as soon as you feel it kind of pretty much stop crushing down, that's when you stop too. And that's it. That's how you do an oil change, or drain the oil, I should say, and change the filter. Right, so now just need to go up on top and get the and fill up the oil. So this thing, I'm not actually sure how much oil this thing uses, but right now I'm actually not on level ground, so I need to push the bike up over there, so that way it's level. So let me do that, and so way I could have a level, and I could actually check the oil level here. So this oil, the sight glass, you can see the sight glass. This is like a little cutout on both sides here. The bottom is the low level, and the top is the max level. All right, so that's how you look at it. So let me push it back up, and we'll start filming again. All right, so let's look at the oil real fast. I could see it, but I'm not sure if you guys can see it because of the glare from the sun. But you see the swirling? That's all the metallic particles. So definitely a lot of metallic particles in there. You can see it, like right there. You see that pattern right here? Right there like that. It's all mechanical particles. Okay, so turn on level ground. Move the oil cap. Get your funnel. And oil. So again, I'm not sure exactly how much oil to pour in. I'm gonna put in probably three quarts first. So this thing has a oil level on the bottom. So this thing should be about 4 quarts, which is a gallon. So I'm gonna go down to 1 quart. Now it's 1.5 It's 1.5. Let me check the level real fast. So nothing showing at all at 1.5. So probably needs more than half, I think. Half would be 3 quarts. So now it's at, what is it now? It looks like it's at right about 1 quart. Still not showing. It's not even in the sight glass. So maybe it's, instead of 3 quarts, maybe it's 3.5 quarts, I'm guessing. Possibly even 4 quarts, but let's do. Let's see, let's do about half a quart. Yeah, it's about half a quart left. So now I have 3.5 quarts in the bike now. Okay, now it shows. It's actually showing at the low mark. That's interesting. It's showing at the low mark, not the high mark. And right now the oil filter is still empty. So if I crank it up over right now and fill up the oil filter, it's probably gonna show. It's probably gonna go down even lower than the low mark. So let's do that. Let's see how much it goes down. So right now it's at the low mark, okay, with 3.5 quarts. Alright, so let's see where it's at now. So it's not even showing on the sight glass right now. Well, actually, no, because it just ran, so you're supposed to give it a few minutes to let the oil settle down. But it's not gonna settle down that much. It's not gonna go down. It's not gonna go from nothing on the side, nothing on the sight glass to the low level. There's no way it's gonna be that much. So I'm guessing I'm pouring the rest of this oil then, because I guess this thing needs a gallon of oil. Okay, let's see. Okay, sweet. So it's right about the high mark, or just shy of the high mark. I think it's right about the high mark. Okay, perfect. So there you go. If you drain it out really good, strain out the oil real good. You're gonna use up, to refill it, you're gonna use up a gallon. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.